ask you, as the brilliant attorney that you are, by all means, let's talk toilets. I mean, Trump, what won the January 6th committee is essentially pursuing the Trump world with the same tactics as targeting organized crime. And it certainly sounds like the mob, because if Trump did indeed discard White House documents down the White House commode, I'm just curious from you as a lawyer, what's the crime and what's the punishment?
I got to tell you, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. And I can't tell you how many times as a prosecutor I would read the facts and go, wait a second, this is actually what happened. This is what happened here. And how those actual sound bites did not age well. The idea was ridiculous when he said it initially. Now to learn through Haberman's reporting that I know has not been verified by NBC, the idea that he may have been discarding documents. Remember, there's a Presidential Records Act involved here, where the documents and the things that a president of the United States touches or has in his or her possession one day belongs to the people of the United States. That's why you got the National Archives. Obviously, it changed from the time when Nixon was in office. And it's just ironic to think about how the plumbers in Watergate technically sort of brought him down, and now this this prospect here. But remember, the reason it's so important is because if you're doing it with nefarious intent, Tiffany, if you're doing it as a sort of notion of trying to destroy evidence, like dumping drugs down a toilet, for example, or discarding a gun over a bridge into the water, or ripping up documents because you do not want to show your criminal intent or enterprise, well, it makes sense that you have prosecutors looking at this issue from the committee standpoint to investigate that.
This is why I love your brilliant analysis, because you always have a way of putting things where they make so much sense. And so I don't know how you make sense of this, but the fact that I want to talk about the new reporting about these phone calls, the lack of phone records. The White House records obtained by the January 6th committee don't show any phone calls to or from Orange Capone there, including the panel knows he made contact with Republican lawmakers. So I'm curious how he would even go about hiding those phone calls. Was he using somebody else's phone? Did he have a burner phone? Is this the Wire, the White House version? How did that even happen?
The burner phone would be interesting. I got to tell you, it could be, and just out of fairness, it could be that he's used one of his aides' cell phones, or it could be that he has a personal cell phone. We obviously know that, and so it's not in the official record of the presidential diary. That's a possibility, but that's one of those generous benefits of the doubt possibilities here. In reality, the idea of there missing actual phone logs, to me, is very suspicious, particularly all the analogies that have been drawn over the years between, say, a President Nixon and, 18 and a half minutes of gaps from the personal secretary who said, no, I don't know why this could have possibly had all these clicks and gaps of potentially important data. This is impactful to figure out, again, is it a part of a pattern and a practice, not inadvertence, not something that was coincidental, that you were trying to hide information. Now, the irony and the stupidity of that, frankly, is that we've got corroboration. The reason the actual words in a vocabulary is because there are ways to figure out and confirm what is known and what you're trying to hide. So all the subpoenaed in the phone records and text messages, et cetera, if you have independent ways of corroborating that, you can destroy all the records you want as long as you still have those. And again, that's why I think these sort of letters that are coming from the committee, ones to, say, Ivanka Trump or other people asking for either voluntary cooperation or otherwise, are kind of the equivalent of, we call it, a talking or a speaking indictment. When we lay out everything, not just the bare bones, to signal, here is everything we know. So if you think that you're going to evade accountability or think you're going to pull one over on us, I already have all this corroboration here. So what are you going to do in this moment? And I think that's where we really are right now.
This is, you're like you said, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction.